about it. I'm going to add Rafa Delphin to the stream right now, my dearest
Rafa.
friend, all the way from Boston. Hey, Rafa. Um,
Hello, everybody. Hi, Walter.
Hey,
Hi,
Rafa,
Delano.
how are you?
Hi,
Hi,
Rafa.
Michelle. How are you people? I miss the
Now I
Bahamas.
have
I
to
wish I
tell.
was there.
I do too.
Yeah,
It just snowed
you got to come back
yesterday in New
home.
York. I'm like, what am I doing here?
No, poor thing, poor thing. Now let me tell y'all Rafa and I background. When I first decided to go into the pageant business, I had been following his blog Critical Beauty for a long time. I used to enjoy reading, his posts, and I thought he was funny and all this kind of stuff, and I really admired him through his blog, from a distance. And then when I decided to go into pageantry, as an organization, my attitude was I want to come out of the gate with people taking me seriously. We knew and we're going to learn a lot, but I don't want to come out of the gate looking like, oh, yeah, here we go again. So I reached out to Rafa. I said, hello, my name is Michelle Malcolm. I'm from the Bahamas. I've been following your blog for a long time. I really admire your work. And I know that you have a lot of connections. And I need some help because I'm new in this and I want to get some guidance as to, who to go to for this and who to go to for that. And I said, would you be willing to help me? And he was like, of course. And that was the beginning of a friendship that has lasted now, even through Trump. He likes Trump. All people know. Anyway, I remember saying to
We
Rafa
miss him.
for the
No, we don't.
I said, for the sake of our friendship, we are not going to discuss Donald Trump anymore because he's not worth this friendship. But I have been friends with Rafa since 20. What year was that, Rafa? We started. Jesus, that's a long time ago. 2000. Our first competition was 2000 and
Probably 2006. Yeah. Maybe a year before that, 2005. Yeah.
Yeah, because we sent a delegate to 2005. I was granted the Miss World franchise in 2005, so it might have been late 2005. And we have been, very, very close friends ever since. He's been a very dear friend of mine and well connected and knows a lot about pageantry. So happy that he can join us here today. And he's flown to the Bahamas a couple of times to be a judge as well. So we're talking, Rafa, as you see, Delano's here, Walter's here. We're talking about it takes a village to prepare a contestant for an international competition and trying to get people to understand what goes into this. But for Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM, Michelle Malcolm in your company, along with my guest today, Walter Greene, Rafa Delphin, and Delano Sweeting. We are talking about it takes a village. It takes a village to prepare a contestant to compete internationally. And as you all know, tomorrow night is Miss World 2021, 70th anniversary of the pageant. And we are very, very, very hopeful that at the end of the night, that elusive blue crown will be placed on the head of the lovely Sienna Evans. That's my hope and prayer. And hopefully from my what do you call it? From my mouth to God's ears. And hopefully we'll have big reason to celebrate tomorrow night. I really believe this is our winning season. Chantel O'Brien started it, and I hope that Sienna Evans going to finish it. But guys, this took a lot to get her there. And Rafa, let's get you in on this because people don't understand that this really is work. This is not just you pick up, you go, find a dress or two, you throw a little bit of makeup, and boom, you're ready to go. From yours, he's written a book on pageantry. From where you stand, knowing all of the international pageant organization directors and contestants you have trained, talk about the work of preparing for a pageant.
I don't even know where to begin, Michelle, to be honest, because there's so many things to say. How long? How long is the show?
The only 2 hours. Only 2 hours.
It's 2 hours long.
Half an hour already gone.
Well, I guess I can start how the concept or the definition of beauty has changed through the years. Because when I was younger, when I was a child, being Filipino, beauty pageant is part of Filipino. Is a big part of Filipino culture. I don't remember a day that went
Oh
by
my
without
God.
me actually watching a pageant on TV or on stage or whatever. Yeah, so
Right.
it is. It's really part of my culture. But when I was little, when I was small, my concept of beauty was very, very superficial. Every time I saw a beautiful person, a beautiful woman, of course, I would automatically think, well, you should join a beauty pageant. But little did I know that there was so much work involved, preparing a young woman to compete or even to win in a pageant. But as I got older,
Hmm.
and I've noticed all these different types of pageants that cater to specific types of beauty, if you want to call it, and that to me was a big revelation. So I said to myself, I started to question my own concept of beauty. Like, does my concept of beauty really this superficial and shallow? I mean, why can't I see beyond the tall, thin, blue-eyed, blonde type of beauty that has been instilled in
Hmm.
me, when I was growing up, when I was young? So from then, as I got older, I started to realize, okay, well, you know what? You need to change your way of thinking. And now that I'm older, I just realized, you know what? Any woman, any person can be beautiful. Not necessarily physically, but also, of course, from within. And rather than actually, recruiting for women that are physically beauty on the outside, why not just approach any woman, regardless whether you think she is pretty or not, approach her, uh, get her interested in competing in a pageant, and then see her journey, see her
Mm.
metamorphosis from being a quote ugly duckling turning into a beautiful swan. And I think
Mm.
that's what basically nearly every major pageant is trying to do, is trying to accomplish, is to find the beauty from within and work from
Mm.
inside to the outside, rather than the opposite, rather than the other way around. So I mean, I don't
Yeah,
know if you guys agree with me, but I think that's the way
I
I
do.
see it.
I do. I
I,
think Miss Universe especially has been moving in that direction, especially in the last several years since your friend Trump. They have decided to put more of an emphasis on young women with substance. I hate to say it that way. I remember
Diversity,
a
yeah.
couple of years diversity too. I mean, look at the young lady from South Africa who was the last woman of color to win the title. You were
Yeah.
trying to say something?
Well, I think, like what you said, it takes a village to prepare girls to compete internationally. But a big part of it is also, the responsibility of the director or the franchise holder or whoever
Mm.
is holding that franchise for that particular
Right, right.
competition. Um, I noticed too that, let's say, I mean, for over 50 years, you have the same Caribbean countries competing in Miss Universe, but they had never really placed. I'm thinking specifically of Turks and Caicos, Cayman Islands, Antigua and Barbuda, um,
Curacao.
Curacao, or even the Bahamas, Bonaire and Aruba. For many years, all those countries have been competing in Miss Universe, but it only one or two. I mean, with the exception, of course, of Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic. I mean, they're pageant powerhouses. But those countries, those island nations that I mentioned, I wonder, these national directors for these countries, how serious are they, or how committed are they in terms of actually preparing their contestants to compete internationally? Because the impression that I get is that, okay, well, they send these girls just to have a good time. They send these girls to be ambassadors of goodwill, for their own countries, which is fine. But you lose focus, you lose track. You go there not just to be an ambassador, but you compete as the best representative of your country, and also you compete to attempt to win the crown. I don't see that passion or that much desire, enthusiasm from those countries. But hopefully now with the Bahamas, with Chantel O'Brien's, making the top 10, hopefully I really believe that that's going to change, and that's only going to inspire Bahamian women to actually consider competing internationally, joining Miss Universe Bahamas or Miss World Bahamas or whatever. I really hope that that will cause a cascade of young women, young girls in the Bahamas actually competing internationally, because it's time. It's really time
Well,
for
let
the
me,
Bahamas to shine on the international
yeah,
stage.
man. this our winning season. But let me speak from the position of a national director. Sometimes you have passion, but your pocketbook don't match the passion. It's expensive to send these girls off to these international competitions. Let me tell you something. When I say we, the Miss Bahamas Organization, we are constantly being approached from other international pageants asking, "Oh, we would like you to send a delegate. We're looking for a national director. We admire your work. Listen, if we don't turn down at least two of them a month, if not more, I mean, it's because pageants. Oh my God, you got 1,000,001 pageants around the world right now. They're constantly reaching out, but we turn them all down. Why? Because it's expensive. You doing everything you could just to do what you need to do for this one girl. So imagine now when you're talking about holding. There was one point when my organization held both Miss Universe and Miss World franchise. Listen, franchise fees alone combined for those two organizations was $25,000 per year. That ain't wardrobe. That ain't airfare. That ain't spending money. That ain't the cost for coaching. That ain't nothing else. Just franchise fees. Now, there's some countries, the bigger, countries spending $100,000 a year on one pageant. But my point is this: they have the financial backing to do so. They come from countries that have this culture of pageantry that support them financially. So it may be, Rafa, it's not that they're not passionate. They just don't have the pocketbook to match the passion, and are doing the best they can with what they have. One of the things that I like about Miss World is that anybody could win that pageant. They really don't care very much about sash, the power of the sash. Now, don't get me wrong. They are a business. And I'm sure that there are decisions that are made based on from a business perspective. But anybody could win that pageant. Whereas for many years at Miss Universe, you didn't get that impression. It was always only certain countries are going to do well. Now, the reason why only certain countries do so well year after year after year goes back to the pocketbook. Because they have the money to pay the best coaches. They have the money to go out and get the best wardrobe possible. They have the money to do these things. Whereas when you come from one of these small countries, you scrapping just to get the girl there. I being real now. I'm being honest. And so if you don't find a way to form some alliances, have good friends like Rafa Delphin, who could introduce you to the right people. Have people like Delano, who got all these friends all around the world, designers who are willing to. You don't have that? Yeah, your girl just showing up to clap and have a nice trip, because you can't compete at the same level if you don't have the finances. Now, that being said, one of the things I like about Miss World is they put more emphasis on the delegate herself, on who she is as a person. So I do believe you have I think it's a harder pageant, but I believe you have a better chance. Now, things have changed at Miss Universe. So, who knows? Maybe sash factor won't make so much of a difference anymore there. But the thing is, when you're talking about these smaller countries, a big challenge is funding. I have a comment here from Oswald Ellis. Oswald says the passion is there in the Caribbean with the directors, but the issues, especially with wardrobe, the island girls like to be covered up. Rarely the island girls will want to wear the ultra sheer gown, and sometimes the parents don't want the girl so naked on the stage. Thank you so much for your comments, Oswald. So yeah, it's culture is a big part of it. Culture is a big part of this whole conversation, because we in the Bahamas, and I think Chantel's performance at Miss Universe will hopefully open the door to us to start to move in that direction. And hopefully, like I say, what she started, Sienna will finish. But we don't have a culture of pageantry like countries like Venezuela and Colombia and Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. This is Philippines on another level. They on another level. Philippines and Indonesia, forget about it. They on another level. from the fans and the support that they give to the financial backing. I mean, they have the support, but when you don't have that support, it's hard, and you constantly feel like you're climbing uphill all the time trying to get things done, and you want to give the girl the very best that you can give her, but it's hard when you don't have that backing. So what do you guys think of that?
I think it's time. If let's say, with the war going on in the Ukraine, um, if China can afford to support Russia, with arms, why can't Venezuela give some of that lovely Venezuelan money to the Bahamas to help prepare? To
Yeah,
help
let me know
prepare.
when you wake up, eh? Because you're clearly dreaming.
I know, I
Let
know.
me know when you wake up.
Well, what would the
No,
Bahamas have to give up to get that,
Oh,
money from
free
Venezuela?
vacation, free vacation to the Venezuelan government officials who are sponsoring. Maybe, put them
let,
in a nice
let
hotel in Nassau, the Atlantis, for a week.
yeah, whatever. Now that Rafa's done telling his joke for the day,
It's
let's
too
look at
early
some
for
real
April
solutions.
Fools, I know.
Well, I think
Exactly.
I think I hate to go back, but typical example of being prepared. I don't know if you guys remember Miss Chantel O'Brien. She entered the Miss Bahamas pageant 3 years in a row in succession before she won.
Hmm.
You guys remember she was the runner-up. She
Hmm.
came back again, again
Yep.
and again and again. And then what? Five
Hmm.
years later, 6 years later, she enters Miss Bahamas Universe and goes up to become among the top 10. That didn't
Hmm.
happen overnight. That's years of training and preparation.
Yes.
So
Yes.
she's a good example to look back on and, refer to that as what you were talking about training, training,
Hmm.
training, being prepared. That's the kind of preparation you need to win or place on the international market.
I agree. I totally agree. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, let me tell you
Yeah.
something. Actually, like 3 months before Chantel, competed at Miss Universe, she actually sought my advice, and she asked me, Rafa, I pretty much done everything I could do in my power to help prepare myself, for Miss Universe. What
Hmm.
else should I do to put the Bahamas, to make Bahamas even more noticeable, on the international stage? And I told her, well, since everybody's on social media, why don't you develop your social media, post stuff, beautiful images of you, not just glam up images of you, but also things that you do on a normal basis in a daily routine, so people can relate to you as a person, not as a beauty queen, but as a person, as Chantel, first and foremost. And also, I I recommend that you put all the necessary and significant hashtags on every post that you post on your social media, so you can actually attract as many fans, as many new followers as possible. And that's exactly what she did. That's exactly what she did. So maybe, who knows? Maybe somebody from the Mission Defense Organization found out about her social media, and they considered, oh, this girl is amazing. I like her. I like her. I like her short hair. I like the shape of her eyes. They remind me of my cat's eyes. I like her elegance. I mean, even when she speaks with so much grace and elegance and eloquence and sophistication. And I think, I mean, for a very long time, that's exactly the kind of beauty queen that I was hoping for would show up at Miss Universe. Somebody who's a lot of poise, a lot of charm, a lot of personality, and is just so graceful on stage. And I think that's one of the reasons that why Miss Universe was so became very interested and attracted to Chantel. And when you look at her, what she's doing right now, I mean, she actually runs her own pageant coaching and etiquette business. You have, young girls who are actually being prepared by her, and I think, to me, that's an amazing chance, for Bahamian girls to actually prepare themselves for international competition. And yeah, so I'm glad that the fact that Chantel made the top of the Miss Universe, and now she's doing all these wonderful, amazing things as far as preparing young girls in the Bahamas. I think Bahamas eventually, one day, will win Miss Universe, and who knows, maybe tomorrow Miss World. So let's see.
No, Rafa, you said to me, I think it was yesterday, you sent me a message and then you left me hanging. You said, Michelle, I hear Sienna is making waves in Puerto Rico. And I was like, what? What? What you talking about? What you talking about? And then the man ain't answer me no more.
Well, look, that's what Hector, that's
That's
what
all you
Hector
needed
told
to hear
me.
at that time.
That's what Hector told me, because Hector saw her in person, and they took selfies
Yes.
together. Her without wearing any makeup, so she looks naturally beautiful. And I noticed her freckles on her lips right away. I mean, you cannot miss that. And that's one thing I like about
Yeah.
Sienna, is because when I interviewed her for my channel, she did not wear any makeup. She was at the airport, and she was about to give some free COVID tests and whatnot. And I was expecting a dolled up Sienna, but no, she came out very natural, without makeup whatsoever. She was just being herself, and I instantly loved her for that. Just she came by just being herself. And that's why what Hector went told me, that she's making waves, is because the Miss World organization sees in her somebody who's so sincere, somebody who's authentic, somebody who's genuine, and somebody, crossing our fingers, would make an excellent Miss World winner. So, what else do you want me to say, Michelle?
Well, at least you could have said that. No.
No,
Listen, she's not the typical beauty queen, okay? She really isn't.
no, she's
There's
not.
nothing typical about this girl that you would think beauty queen. Nothing. Guys, we run out of time. I want to give you each 1 minute to give me your final thoughts on it takes a village to prepare a contestant for an international competition. Delano, let's start with you. 1 minute.
I think that's very fitting, and I want everyone to understand that the village starts from her house, her friend circle, and her sponsorship. Ensure that this girl has no stress, so the best version of her competes for the national title, so then we can have a really good national representative when they go international, because that's where it starts.
As
Absolutely.
I
Thank you
said
so
earlier,
much.
she understands the
Yeah.
assignment, and everything is in
Hmm.
divine order. We'll talk tomorrow night. Victory party. I'm confident.
Yes.
I'm very confident.
Amen.
Yeah.
Rafa, now see, I give them 1 minute and they take 20 seconds. So we got a little bit more time, Rafa. So go ahead, give me your final thoughts on this.
Well, all I can say is that really preparation comes at an early stage. I think the younger the girl is, when she starts her preparation, the better. Not only that, but since all these major pageants are now focusing on advocacies and platforms and charitable causes and whatnot, I would recommend, if any young girl out there who has a big heart, and um, who's really focused on helping others in her community and whatnot, focus on that goal, develop that advocacy, because and the more you take time to develop that advocacy, people take notice, the media take notice, potential sponsors take notice, your government takes notice. It just it just grows. And look at Catriona Gray, Miss Universe 2018 from the Philippines. She started
Hmm.
working with less privileged poor children in the Philippines when she was a teenager, like maybe 13
Right.
or 14. And then she didn't even think that she was going to compete in a beauty pageant until her friends, uh, convinced her to join. And when your heart is in a good place, when you're actually genuinely sincere in serving your community, focus on there, start from there, develop it, and then think about possibly competing in a pageant later on in life. Because the more connections you have at an early age, uh, the better your chances of actually winning a crown. So yeah. That's all. That's the advice I can give to any potential pageant candidate right there.
Excellent advice. The bottom line is it shouldn't just be that you're doing this for show, just because you want to win a
Right.
competition. And I think this is one of the things that has separated Sienna. That who you see is who she really is. That's who she is. She's not trying to put on. She's not trying to pretend to be something she's not. Um, like I say, she's not the typical beauty queen. This girl more comfortable without makeup. I have to constantly now make sure you put on your makeup, Sienna. Um, she genuinely is a very sweet, loving person. She's equally, I would say, more beautiful from the inside than she is from the out, and she's really beautiful, as you can see from the out. So this is what we're looking for, people. We are looking for young women who are genuine, who are real, who really want to make a difference in their community. And